Hey, welcome to Graphic Policy Television, GPTV. I'm Brett. In my hands is the other History of the DC Universe #3. Now, for those who've watched my previous reviews of this series, you'll know that I absolutely love it. I think this is absolutely amazing. It's groundbreaking stuff, really interesting, and I've kind of described it in the past as it really feels like a college course on DC history. It's done an amazing job of exploring the various DC mythos and putting an actual some real thought into it, some real exploration of the good and the bad throughout. So the concept of the series is pretty much doing exactly that from a minority point of view. So the first issue is from about Black Lightning. The second issue is about two minority characters from Teen Titans. I was going to say minor characters, also minority characters. And this one is all about Katana, who's a character I don't know tons about, so it's kind of interesting to go in and read what is said about her. So the series is written by John Ridley, just amazing creator. I think everything he's done is blown me away. Layouts by Giuseppe Camuncoli, finishes by Andrea, Cucchi, color by José Villarrubia, lettering by Steve Wands. So this takes place from 1983 to 1996. I was about to say 1996, and goes through kind of the history of Katana. Now, this is a character I mainly know from Suicide Squad. I've read a little bit of Outsiders here and there, but mainly it's been Suicide Squad that I really know her from. And this goes through her origin and to kind of more modern times, and it's her perspective of kind of her career is the best way of putting it. It's very different than the first two issues. The first two issues, I really felt like the characters were making commentary, not just taking us through their history, but really a lot of a commentary about what was going on around them. There was a lot of discussion about, in Black Lightning's case, about superheroes and tokenism and, being the first black something, first black superhero, first black member of Justice League, first female black superhero, like that sort of stuff. And then there was also a really interesting discussion about the lack of superheroes willing to intervene, to step in and do something about issues in the inner city, drug trade, gangs, stuff like that. Superman could end the drug issues in 2 seconds, at least the gang aspects of it. Batman could probably do the same. Wonder Woman, all that. They could easily resolve these issues and really help communities that are having lots of problems, not just with drugs and crime, but urban renewal and urban decay, stuff like that. Batman could invest and help fund minority businesses, stuff like that. So that was Black Lightning. I thought that was interesting. The second one with Teen Titans was a lot about the fact that these two characters, Bumblebee and I totally forgot the other dude's name, how they were kind of also Rand's also there, and that the main group was really dysfunctional, and there was a little bit of racism in there. The fact that they went and hid out in the city, no one would go look there, I think says a lot. And so that was also fairly interesting of these second tier characters kind of commenting on that. This is really about Katana, and she talks about some of the other characters a little bit. There's commentary about Batman and his leadership with outsiders, her kind of perspective on Superman dying and coming back, but it's really about her life and her loss of family and her search for family. And I think it's kind of interesting. It's a very different narrative. It's a different focus than the first two issues. And it takes us through her life and a lot of the life of the outsiders. There's stuff about Terra and some honest, commentary about Deathstroke and that relationship. But it's a really about Katana and her experiences in her life. And I think what really does is really fascinating, and he kind of beats it to death a little bit, is that Katana really is about the myth. We think that her sword steals souls. We find out that's not true, and that she just kind of let that myth go. That she doesn't really talk to the dead, that sort of stuff. It's kind of interesting is that this is repeated over and over and over, and it feels almost like a commentary about how superheroes like build up that reputation, build up that myth. As much of bullshit as it might be, like that's a lot of what it is to be a superhero. Like she emphasizes she doesn't know martial arts, but people think she does. That she wasn't really trained with a sword, but people think she's this amazing, masterful with the sword. Like it's kind of fascinating to kind of see that emphasis, and I feel like it's kind of this is kind of the commentary about how all the other superheroes do that as well, except Ridley focuses on Katana doing that, and that it's kind of interesting juxtaposed, especially like against Batman and how like he has this reputation, and she kind of goes in and beats, talks about that reputation and beats it down a little bit. And I think with the death of Superman, she talks about his reputation and beats it down a little bit. It's kind of feels like that's the purpose and the thought and the process through this one. It's again very different issue than the first two. Like the first two were really commentary about DC Universe and its history as a whole. Katana seems to be more about like a little about meta, about how superheroes present themselves and build up their reputation. As usual, like the art is amazing. Like I love the layouts. I love the retro art. It's just some really, really cool stuff. And you can see here, it's like this is not a traditional comic. Like this is, it's more of like a graphic essay, I think is the best way of putting it. It really is John Ridley putting out his thoughts and of this character's history and DC Comics universe, DC universe, with art around it, which is again very different. Like I'm loving the series. I think it's really, really interesting. I love this perspective. And it really does feel like reading essays from someone about how they see the DC Universe and these characters and all that. So, if you enjoy that sort of concept, I highly, highly, highly recommend the series. Like, it really does feel like a really interesting discussion that, you'd get at a college level. Like, I really feel like a professor is lecturing me in a good way of taking me through some history and having me then think about my perspective of that history as well. So, check this out. It's out now in comic shops. Highly, highly recommend it. I think this is a fantastic series. I love it. Like, absolutely, absolutely love it. We got a link beneath this video. Put in your zip code. Tell if a shop's near you. No shop, no problem. We have some affiliate links as well. They are affiliate links. So we do get a small percentage of that. By doing that, you help support our site. So thank you. And speaking of support, just watching these videos support us. I thank you for that. If you're into DC Comics, if you're into comics in general, we try to get all of Ridley's stuff in there because I'm just such a huge fan. Check us out every single day at graphicpolicy.com. We're on Twitter, Facebook, YouTube, Tumblr, Instagram, all at Graphic Policy, keeping it nice and consistent. Until next time, keep reading those comics and keep it geeky. Hey, thanks for watching the previous video from Graphic Policy Television. Just by watching, you help support our site. Thank you so much. Now, if you're watching these videos, you probably care about geeky things like movies, television, comic books, toys, games, video games, you name it. You can go and subscribe right now to our YouTube channel to stay in touch and catch all the new videos, or check out our website at graphicpolicy.com. There's a nice link on this end of the video. But as always, thank you for watching. Keep on rocking and keep it geeky.